I intentionally got every bonus question right just to stay away from the school beauty, Chloe. When I left the exam hall, Chloe's friends mocked me. Chloe says she didn't do well, they sneered. Remember to turn in a blank paper this afternoon, or else you'll lose your chance to be her lapdog. They burst into laughter. I looked at the disgusted Chloe, nodded, and said, got it. But inside, I thought, whoever wants to be her dog can go ahead. I'm done serving her. I turned around and called the butler to immediately cancel all financial support for her family and kick them out. Chloe was furious. Yet in my past life, I desperately worshipped my family driver's daughter. To marry her, I signed over the company my father left me. She spent my money while dating someone else. She spoiled her boyfriend like a puppy, while she treated me like a servant. On her wedding day, I called to borrow money for medical treatment. She said cruelly, being haunted by you all these years was a nightmare. Die already, Ethan. As I died in a mudslide, holding my daughter, I realized the wealthy socialite I once rejected had been waiting for me all along. When I opened my eyes, I was back in senior year. I was napping on my desk when Chloe woke me up. Marcus has an upset stomach. Go. Buy him some medicine, then go to the cafeteria and get him lunch. Get extra meat. He's too thin and needs to recover. Marcus sat there, surrounded by people like a star. Everyone was worried about his stomach ache, but the one who cared most was Chloe, and I was Chloe's brainless lapdog, sleeping in class and spending my breaks getting her food, water, and massaging her legs. Realizing I was reborn, I looked at Chloe's face and found it pathetic. Who does she think she is? Seeing me dazed, Chloe snapped, what are you staring at? Hurry up and go. She walked over to Marcus and gently patted his back. Marcus glanced at me and said to Chloe, it's not right to make Ethan go. I'll just go myself. What are you afraid of? He loves doing this. If I don't let him go, he'll be upset, right? She looked at me. I curled my lip and went to the cafeteria without a word. This time, I lined up and bought 2 meals for myself. A classmate saw me and chuckled, buying food for Chloe again. But she likes Marcus, someone as excellent as her. She'd never look at a guy like you. I asked him, puzzled, what kind of guy am I? He said with contempt, you're just a servant's son. Just because you go to school with the young lady every day, you think you can marry her? Wake up. A guy as stupid and useless as you can only ever be. A servant in her house, washing her clothes, sweeping her floors, and changing her son's diapers. I laughed out of pure rage. Did Chloe tell you all that I'm a servant's son? But now, in everyone's eyes, Chloe was the young lady and I was the servant's son. Seeing me ask that, the guy rolled his eyes. Who else? Hurry up and take the lunch to her. Don't be late. He started laughing again, and the people around all joined in, mocking my simp behavior and my unrequited obsession. The bell rang. I walked out of the cafeteria, but I didn't go back to class. I sat by the flower bed and ate both meals. I couldn't remember the last time I had a good meal. Because I had no money, I couldn't afford good food. I used to go to the market at closing time to pick up discarded vegetables. Meat was a luxury. I finished both portions, finally dulling the ache of hunger. When I returned to class, the first bell had already rung. Chloe saw me and asked angrily, why are you just getting here? Where's the medicine? What medicine? I looked at her coldly, without a trace of my usual passion. Chloe looked at me, speechless. The stomach medicine for Marcus. I said he wasn't feeling well. Are you deaf? You can't even handle such a small task. I glanced at the pale-faced Marcus. What does Marcus have to do with me? Why should I buy him medicine? Marcus came from a modest family. Ever since he met Chloe, she had been incredibly good to him. Every time my father gave me something nice, Chloe would take it and give it to Marcus. Even the watch Marcus was wearing right now was mine. These two used my cards, spent my money, and enjoyed everything I had, yet treated me like a servant. Chloe snapped, Ethan, are you throwing a tantrum? If you keep this up, don't blame me for ignoring you next time. I stared at Chloe, finding her words laughable. What do I need your forgiveness for? What did I do wrong? Seeing me actually dare to argue with Chloe, the others all looked over. What's with this simp? Has he finally snapped? Chloe was momentarily stunned. She looked at me, remembering how I used to beg for her attention, and warned, if you're so brave, don't you dare go home with me this afternoon. I nodded. Fine by me. I sat down as if I hadn't even heard her. My desk mate, Sarah, stood up to deliver justice. Ethan, what is wrong with you? She just asked you to buy some medicine. You couldn't even do that? Can't you see Marcus isn't feeling well? I gave her a cold glance. If that's the case, you go buy it right now. Sarah replied indignantly. That's your job. Why should I go? I have nothing to do with Marcus. Why should I buy it? Sarah pointed at me. You're a joke. You're just a servant in her house. Isn't this your duty? Hearing this, I looked at Chloe and asked, Chloe, did you tell everyone I'm your servant? I fixed my gaze on her. Chloe looked a bit guilty. Of course, people only assumed this because they saw a luxury car picking her up every day. She just never bothered to explain the truth. Stop acting crazy. Chloe walked over. She was my desk mate. Fine, if you didn't buy the medicine, I'll go myself later. She assumed I was just jealous and didn't want to help Marcus. She glanced at me and asked, did you get the food? She figured even if I didn't get the medicine, I must have bought lunch. She'd heard from classmates that I bought 2 portions. I said calmly, I ate it. What? You ate both portions? Seeing Chloe's agitated look, I simply nodded. The students in the front row looked at me with disdain. Are you a pig? You ate 2 whole meals. They were used to kissing Chloe's feet and looking down on me. I used to tolerate them for Chloe's sake, not wanting to offend anyone near her, hoping they'd say good things about me. Now I realize I just spoiled them. Every time Chloe treated them to dinner, it was my money. I said coldly, I spent my own money. I don't care if I eat 2 portions or 20. It's my right. The students' faces turned dark. One whispered, your money? Doesn't your money come from the school beauty's family? Beside me, Chloe was already fuming, especially since I hadn't bought her food, leaving her hungry. Her temper flared. She snapped at me. Ethan, you asked for this. I hope you can keep this act up for more than 2 days. She stood up, grabbed her things, and said to Marcus's deskmate, Sarah, I'm swapping with you. You sit with him. Whenever she was unhappy, this was how she punished me, by refusing to be my deskmate. I had practically begged for her to sit with me so she could tutor me. But thinking back, Chloe never actually taught me anything. She just ordered me around. She seemed to think this would make me crawl back, but I ignored her. Chloe was hungry, and Marcus was still groaning from his stomach ache. She sat there with a dark expression, glancing at me by the window. This time, Chloe was truly angry, waiting for me to apologize so she could show me who's boss. After school, the Maybach came to pick me up at the gate. I walked straight to the car. Everyone in school knew I'd offended Chloe and was waiting to see me humiliated. Seeing me have the nerve to get in the car, they started whispering. Didn't he refuse to buy her lunch? How does he have the face to keep hitching a ride in her family's car? He's just a servant's son. Does he think he's the master? Chloe isn't even here yet, and he just gets in? Chloe is too kind. If I dealt with a servant's son who didn't know his place, I'd have fired him already. I ignored the mockery. Once inside, I told the driver, drive. The driver looked at me and said, but Miss Chloe isn't here yet. Let's wait a bit. Sometimes Chloe was late because of student council meetings, and I'd always wait. He didn't expect me to demand to leave immediately. Seeing the driver disobey me to speak up for Chloe, I found it ridiculous. Uncle Bill, I'm an only child. Since when does our family have a miss? Did you have a fight with her? Bill asked with concern. Don't worry, young master. I'll talk to her later. No need to lecture him. Just drive. I don't want to be on the same road as him, and I never want to see him again. Bill hesitated, not listening to me. He knew all too well how much I used to fear his daughter. Every time Chloe said something, I never dared to contradict her. Even if he ignored my orders, I usually wouldn't do anything. He was just my family's driver, but he had stopped acting like one. He was starting to put on airs in front of me. Are you going or not? I frowned. Actually, my father had wanted to fire him long ago because he heard Bill was gambling. My father didn't feel safe keeping someone like that in the house. But back then, I was out of my mind and kept defending him. I thought if he stayed, then Chloe could stay at our house too. I said so many good things about him, even claiming he treated me well. That's the only reason this driver lasted this long. I didn't expect that now. He wouldn't even listen to his own employer. They're here. Seeing Chloe appear at the gate, Bill hurried out of the car. Chloe was supporting Marcus, and they walked toward the car together. Bill opened the door for them. Chloe was about to help Marcus inside. Because I liked Chloe, in order to let her ride home with us, Marcus always came along. The driver would drop Marcus off first before taking us home. Not only that, I had to wake up early every morning to pick Marcus up first. Before Marcus could get in, I spoke up. Didn't you say you weren't going home with me this afternoon? Why are you getting in my car? The students watching this scene couldn't help but start cursing. What is wrong with Ethan? This is clearly Chloe's car, right? Yeah, he's actually trying to ban the lady from her own car. Everyone was playing their part in the drama. Chloe looked at me, her expression stiff. She didn't understand what had gotten into me today. I wasn't taking the olive branch she offered. Do you have to be like this? I decided to forgive you for what happened at noon. Ethan, if you keep making a scene, I don't need your forgiveness. Go home on your own. Don't travel with me. Chloe's face turned pale, then flushed with anger. She knew everyone saw her as a wealthy socialite. If she didn't get in this car, wouldn't her true identity be exposed? She suddenly reached out and pulled me right out of the car, then let Marcus get in. Chloe, don't push it. I admit, she actually managed to make me angry. I couldn't even remember why I tolerated her before. Looking at her face now, I have no idea how I ever endured it or thought she was a good person. Chloe ignored me, clearly having no intention of being reasonable. She bossily ordered, drive. Bill actually drove away, leaving me standing there. The onlookers burst into laughter. Serves him right. That's how you handle someone so unreasonable. I pulled out my phone. This phone was Chloe's old, cheap Nokia. To please her, I had given her the brand new iPhone my father gave me for my birthday and took this piece of junk instead. At the time, I thought I was protecting her self-esteem. Now, looking at this broken phone, it just felt ridiculous. I called my father. A moment later, the Maybach that had just left came back and stopped at the gate. Bill got out, looking quite shaken. Young master. Looking at him, it was obvious he had just been scolded over the phone. Tell those two to get out. I don't want to share a ride with them. Bill looked at the two in the car. Chloe had to help Marcus out herself. Marcus didn't expect this turn of events. His face went pale. Ethan, it's fine if you have a problem with me, but there's no need to target Chloe like this. She's always been so good to you. Chloe cut him off. Don't waste your breath on him. Seeing them both out, I finally got into the car. Before leaving, I rolled down the window and waved at Chloe with a smile. Goodbye. Bill glanced at me in the rearview mirror. He hadn't expected me to be so ruthless. He couldn't help but say, young master, it's normal for friends to argue. Don't be so angry. I'll have Chloe apologize to you later. It's just that she doesn't have a car now. She'll probably have to take the bus. Who knows what time she'll get home? If everyone else can take the bus, why can't she? Bill, have you forgotten who pays your salary? If you have a problem with me, why don't you just resign? Since he was trying to tell me what to do just because of his daughter, did he think he could look down on me? If I hadn't called my father, he really would have left me stranded today. Hearing my words, Bill shut his mouth in fear. When we got home, the butler, Mr. Lewis, saw me. Young master, why are you back alone? Why isn't Miss Chloe with you? From now on, there is no Miss Chloe in this house. Hearing me speak, Mr. Lewis was stunned. Since when did the young master finally wake up? He used to be so obsessed with her. Had Bill and his daughter forgotten who was the master and who was the servant? Mr. Lewis had wanted to say something many times, but he never dared to because he knew it would upset me. Hearing me say this now, Mr. Lewis was deeply moved. He looked at me. Among all the servants in the house, he was the one who treated me best. But in the past, because he was always managing Chloe's affairs, I actually found him annoying. Later, after Chloe took over the family business, Mr. Lewis was the first one she kicked out. Thinking of the past and seeing him now, my eyes grew misty. I said to him, going upstairs first. Mr. Lewis nodded. Understood. Miss Bella is here. Should I tell her to leave? Actually, Bella came over often, but because she was the one my father arranged for me, and I was obsessed with Chloe, I used to find Bella incredibly annoying. Every time she came, I wouldn't even see her. I'd just have someone send her away. As a result, I hadn't seen Bella in years. Thinking back to my death, it was her people who sent me to the hospital, and she still remembered she was my fiancée. I stopped. Mr. Lewis, I'll go see her. Where is she? In the backyard, playing with Snowball. When I reached the backyard, I saw Bella feeding Snowball. This dog was one I wanted to raise, but Chloe said she didn't like dogs, so I stopped going near him. I didn't expect Bella to actually get along so well with Snowball. She was wearing her blue school uniform. It was such a plain uniform, yet she looked so beautiful in it. I remembered hearing before I died that despite being so perfect, she had stayed single for all those years. My eyes turned red. Bella finished petting Snowball before looking up at me. Seeing me standing at the door, not knowing how long I'd been there, she started to walk over, but then remembered how much I hated her and stopped. Young Master Ethan. Bella was beautiful, but had a steady, mature personality. Even though she was the same age as me, she already looked like she was in her 20s. As for her grades, she was always first in the province. She was the person Chloe despised the most. Chloe always said Bella was only successful because her family gave her so many resources. She claimed if she had Bella's advantages, she wouldn't be any worse. Every time she saw Bella's grades, Chloe felt uncomfortable, so I couldn't help but treat Bella as an enemy too. But thinking carefully, I never really had any interaction with her. How had she ever offended me? Seeing her now, I struggled to control my emotions and asked, "Are you looking for me for something?" Bella said, "I just came to see you." Seeing that I didn't speak, she sensed it was time to leave. "I know you don't want to see me. I'll leave right now." She hadn't expected to actually see me. She just wanted to visit Snowball. She didn't think I'd be willing to meet her. For her, this was already enough. Seeing her about to leave, I spoke up. "Do you want to stay for dinner?" Hearing this, Bella froze and looked at me in surprise. "Can I?" At that moment, the setting sun hit me, making me look a bit more approachable. "Of course you can." At this time, Chloe hadn't returned yet. She was busy taking Marcus home. If this were the past, I definitely would have waited for her to return before starting dinner. Seeing me wanting to eat so early today, Mr. Lewis was a bit surprised. "Are we not waiting for Miss Chloe?" "Why wait for her?" "Because the servants were used to me being Chloe's lapdog. They weren't used to me stopping." Mr. Lewis didn't ask further. "All right, I'll go arrange it. By the way, inform Bill that he doesn't need to come in tomorrow." Mr. Lewis was stunned for a moment, but quickly reacted. After all, he couldn't question the master's business. After firing Chloe's father, I finally sat down in the dining room. Bella had been stealing glances at me, but when she saw me sit down, she awkwardly looked away. I didn't realize Bella was so shy back then. I couldn't help but want to tease her. "Why aren't you looking at me? Am I that ugly?" My grades were terrible, but I was decent looking. If Chloe hadn't ruined me later, I wouldn't have ended up so miserable. Bella looked back and said, "No." She stared at me with a calm face, but if you looked closely, her ears were turning red. I smiled and asked, "By the way, I heard your grades have always been great." Facing my sudden warmth, Bella was still a bit unaccustomed. "They're okay. Do you have any reliable tutors you can recommend to me?" After all, relying on Chloe was out of the question. In this life, I didn't want to be like my past self, thinking my father could protect me forever while never even opening a book. While I still had the chance, I wanted to fix my grades. Bella had great resources. If she recommended a teacher, they'd surely be useful. "You're looking for a tutor? What about Chloe?" She had heard that I had a tutor who was my classmate, which was why Chloe had been living at my house. "She's been fired." Chloe looked down on me and had zero patience for tutoring me. All the money I gave her was a total waste. Bella was surprised, seeing that I was serious and not joking. She picked up her glass and took a sip to hide her nervousness. "I don't have a tutor. I study on my own. If you don't mind, I can come over every day to tutor you." She probably thought I'd say no, since I used to ignore her. Staying for dinner was already a shock to her. But when I heard her offer, my face lit up with genuine joy. "Really?" Bella nodded, looking flattered. "As long as you're willing, I can." I was so happy I blurted out, "Of course I'm willing. I'm just worried it'll interfere with your own studies." "It won't," Bella said. Her face remained calm, but her eyes were very gentle. She had finished the high school curriculum long ago and was already fast-tracked for university. She didn't say it, fearing I'd feel resentful. "Then thank you. My grades are terrible, so don't find me too stupid." Chloe's grades were good too, but she had zero patience. If I didn't understand a problem after one explanation, she'd insult me. I used to be an average student, but her tutoring made me regress and destroyed my confidence. "I won't. Then I'll come over after school." We ate together. Seeing how quiet Bella was, I picked up my chopsticks and served her some food. "Make yourself at home. Don't be polite." Just then, Chloe walked in after dropping Marcus off. She had already heard the news about her father being Fired. Her father had given her a real earful. Seeing that I hadn't waited for her to eat and that the dishes on the table were already touched, her face immediately darkened. I gave her a cold glance and kept eating. Chloe had come to confront me about her father, but seeing Bella there, she asked unpleasantly, "What is she doing here?" In the past, to please Chloe, I never stayed close to other girls. Every time Bella came over, I'd kick her out without a second look. I never expected that now. I'd actually keep her for dinner. I said, "She's my guest. Do you have a problem with that?" Chloe had no choice but to sit down, glaring at me. "You specifically called her over to spite me, didn't you?" She knew she hated Bella. In every competition, as long as Bella was there, Chloe could forget about first place. Bella sat beside me, silent. I looked at Chloe and said, "You're overthinking it, Chloe. You're not that important. I used to think this woman was my whole world, that everything revolved around her. But living this again, I only feel disgust and contempt. Loving someone like her only leads to an endless abyss. If you think being with other girls will make me jealous, Ethan, then you're really dreaming. Seeing you intimate with someone else is exactly what I want. It saves me the trouble of you annoying me all day." I was speechless. Once Chloe left the room, I could see the look in Bella's eyes had become complicated. I explained, "Don't listen to her nonsense. She wouldn't be angry because of that, would she?" I felt a bit unsure. To my surprise, Bella didn't say a word. Her attitude seemed a bit cold. After dinner, I walked Bella to the door. "Be careful on the road." "Okay." She left without saying much else, appearing very reserved. I went back inside, and Chloe was coming down the stairs. She had changed out of her uniform into a short-sleeved shirt. Though she did many evil things later, she was undeniably beautiful, looking gentle and quiet. I was fooled by this look before. Now, Chloe snapped at me. "Why did you fire my dad?" She hadn't said this in front of others because she didn't want people to know she was just the driver's daughter. Making a scene in front of Bella would make her lose face. I said flatly, "Do I need to explain myself to you for firing a driver? That's my father." Chloe shouted, "I made him do everything today. It has nothing to do with him. If you're so capable, come at me. Just fire me then." The moment she mentioned being fired, I felt instantly refreshed. I stared at Chloe. "Fine, no problem. What did you just say?" Chloe stared at me in shock. I said, "You've always thought I was stupid, haven't you? Since that's the case, let's just end it. Move out of my house. I'll find another tutor. Ever since you started tutoring me, my grades have only gotten worse. I don't think you're worth the high salary I pay you." Chloe thought I was joking, but she realized I was serious about firing her as my tutor. "Your grades are bad because you're just too stupid to keep up." I explain a problem once to Marcus and he understands immediately. "But you're as dumb as a pig. How is that my fault? Even if you switch teachers, it'll be the same. No one can teach you more. This is entirely your own problem." Seeing her still blaming me, I said, "Move out of the house, Chloe." Chloe gritted her teeth. "Ethan, you're still a student. You should focus on your studies. You spend all day thinking about dating me. No wonder your grades are bad." Chloe sneered. "What are you even talking about? These little tricks of yours are just because you're jealous of my relationship with Marcus, aren't you? You're upset because I won't date you. But right now, I only want to focus on my studies and get into a top university. I'm not like you. Even if you don't go to school, your family has more than enough money. So, it's impossible for me to be with you now." I stared at her, feeling a bit shocked. After a few seconds, I reacted. "Who asked to be with you? Chloe, where do you get this confidence? Do you really think I'd be with you? Without my favor, you're nothing." Chloe just thought I was being stubborn. "Think whatever you want, but I must remind you, next time you invite Bella over for dinner, don't blame me if I ignore you." She finished and went straight to her room, slamming the door. She's got a lot of nerve. Does she think this is her house? I went to my room and called my assistant Leo. I instructed, "Leo, move Chloe's things out of her room tomorrow. My house won't hold someone who wants to step on my head." Then I got Bella's number, saved it, and sent her a message. "Did you get home safe?" But she didn't reply. In the morning, I woke up naturally since I didn't have to pick up Marcus anymore. I thought Chloe would have left, but I found her waiting for me at the dining table. I sat down and started enjoying my breakfast. Every day, in my rush to pick up Marcus, I barely had a proper breakfast at home. Seeing Chloe waiting there, I looked up at her stubborn expression. Even now, she still seems to take me for a fool. After breakfast, I walked out, and Chloe followed closely behind me. The driver had already been replaced. The new one opened the door for me. I got in, and Chloe followed. I looked at her and said, "Chloe, what is the meaning of this? Didn't you say you wouldn't go with me?" "I remember exactly what you said yesterday." Chloe's face turned pale, but she didn't lie. "If my father hadn't insisted I make peace with you, I wouldn't bother. You just have some money and like to bully people with your status. What's so great about that?" But her father still needed this job. I didn't want to waste time, so I told the driver to go. We arrived at the school gate. I got out and Chloe followed. In the past, they always brought Marcus along. Today, Marcus took the bus himself. Seeing Chloe, he quickly walked over. Marcus's gaze landed on me. After the scene I caused yesterday, he was confused. How could a servant's son dare to be so arrogant toward Chloe? Seeing Chloe and me arriving at school together, he asked, "Are you two back together?" I ignored them and walked straight inside. Chloe watched my back. Seeing that I completely ignored her, she frowned and said to Marcus, "I have nothing to settle with him." Marcus said, "Regardless, letting a servant's son bully you like this, you're too good-tempered. Now everyone is gossiping that Ethan is the real young master." Chloe replied, "There's no need to care about their opinions. My dad has a good relationship with Ethan's family. He told me to look after Ethan more, so I can't just ignore him, right? Fine. Seeing that she only did it because of her father, Marcus felt slightly relieved. I reached the classroom, and Sarah was already there. She stood in the way, blocking me. I said move. Sarah glanced at me and said, "You're so shameless. Yesterday you actually left Chloe and Marcus there and had the driver take you away." I looked at Sarah and chuckled. "It's my car. I have the right to refuse passengers. Who are you to care?" Seeing my confident attitude, everyone couldn't help but feel curious. "Are you saying that Maybach belongs to your family? Who else's would it be?" I looked indifferently at the person speaking. Sarah burst out laughing. "You? Ethan, we know exactly who you are. You really want to play the young master here? Do you have the right? I heard that driver is your father. Your whole family works for the Miller family. Chloe is just too nice to settle scores with you. Otherwise, she'd have kicked you out long ago. Don't push your luck." Sarah was close to Marcus, and Marcus was always with Chloe. Hearing her say this, everyone believed her. Chloe and Marcus had already appeared. Standing at the classroom door, Chloe's expression looked a bit strained. Sarah's words weren't really insulting me. They were insulting her. She walked over and snapped at Sarah, "Go back to your seat." Sarah glanced at Chloe helplessly. She clearly felt Chloe's displeasure and had to move her things away. Chloe sat down next to me again. I didn't pay much attention to her behavior. I didn't care what she did. She was the teacher's favorite, and her social connections were quite good, so no one would complain about her switching seats. Sarah sat next to Marcus, feeling indignant. She whispered to him, "Marcus, what does Chloe mean by this? Ethan is walking all over her, yet she still protects him. She even moved over to sit with him." Marcus replied, "Her father told her to take good care of Ethan. It doesn't mean anything else. Don't overthink it." "So that's why," Sarah said. "I was wondering why Ethan is acting like this. He even claimed that car belongs to his family. Chloe's phone is clearly expensive, and Marcus's gifts aren't cheap either. But look at Ethan's phone. It's about the same as mine. Yet he still thinks he can pretend to be a rich young master? Who would believe that?" Sitting in my seat, I stole a glance at my phone. Bella finally replied to my message with just a single letter. N. It looked incredibly cold. I recalled how friendly she was yesterday. But after going home, her attitude turned indifferent. I sent the message last night, and she only replied now. Meanwhile, Chloe was sitting right beside me. Nothing about her had changed, but since yesterday, she felt like I had become a completely different person. I took out my phone and messaged Bella. "Are you still coming for the tutoring session this afternoon?" Bella replied with another single word. "As long as she comes, it's fine." I ignored the matter and focused intensely on class. At noon, Marcus came over to go downstairs for lunch with Chloe. Chloe instinctively glanced at me and asked, "Aren't you going to eat?" My level of focus today surprised her. I hadn't even dozed off during class. Right now, I was still carefully organizing my notes. It was a joke to her. Usually, my head was only filled with her, yet here I was studying seriously. Seeing me still busy after class, Chloe asked out of curiosity, but I ignored her as if I hadn't heard a word. Marcus looked at Chloe and said, "If Ethan isn't going, let's go ourselves. We can bring something back for him later." "No need," I said, rejecting Marcus's kindness. Marcus was a good person, at least in everyone's eyes. He always had been, even when others mocked him behind his back. Marcus remained optimistic, but I didn't want to owe anyone any favors. I properly packed my things and stood up, not leaving with them. Marcus followed Chloe, asking, "What's wrong with him? Why is he ignoring you? How did you offend him?" Chloe was also puzzled. She thought about how, no matter how cold she used to be, I would always stick to her like a loyal lapdog. Yet since yesterday, even though she did nothing, I remained in this state, which made her feel empty. Marcus said, "By the way, should we invite him to your birthday party this weekend?" It happened to be Chloe's birthday this week. Last year, she celebrated at the Royal Pavilion Hotel. I had booked the hotel and arranged everything, letting Chloe invite the whole class. Spending hundreds of thousands in one night made all the students praise her. I used to think attending Chloe's party was an honor. Naturally, this time was the same. A few days ago, I had already arranged everything perfectly. If I hadn't mentioned firing her father, Chloe wouldn't think much of it. But after what I said yesterday and my cold behavior today, she couldn't help but overthink. If I don't go, will her birthday party even happen? Watching my retreating figure, Chloe tried to comfort herself. "Forget it. What am I worried about? He'll definitely come. There's no way he'd ignore my birthday. Maybe he's being cold on purpose just to give me a surprise." Thinking this, she relaxed a bit and told Marcus, "He'll definitely be there." Marcus agreed. "True, he's there for every one of your birthdays." That afternoon, Chloe and Marcus had a rehearsal for the school festival. I didn't wait for her and went straight home. Bella had already arrived. As soon as I walked in, she and her dog came to greet me. Seeing her there, I broke into a smile. Perhaps because of our bond in my past life, I felt that every meeting with her was precious and rare. Seeing the smile on my face, Bella froze for a moment. She was used to my spoiled and cold demeanor. My recent enthusiasm made her a bit shy and hesitant to give me instructions. I looked at her, smiling, and said, "I've been here for a while, so let's head straight to the study." I led Bella upstairs. Today in class, I realized there were many parts one didn't understand, so I wanted to ask for her help. We both sat down in the study. That seat next to me used to belong to Chloe. But even when Chloe sat there, she never seriously explained the lessons to me. She even felt I was hindering her own studies. Bella sat down beside me and took out 2 test papers. She wanted to gauge my current level first. I finished the papers seriously and handed them to her. Bella took the papers and looked them over in silence for a moment. I felt a bit ashamed. Sorry, I'm really quite stupid. It's not your fault, Bella said. Your study methods just aren't quite right. Let me help you brush up on the basics first, okay? I nodded in agreement. While teaching, Bella kept her head down and didn't look at me, but she was very serious. Her logic was incredibly easy for me to follow. Things I couldn't figure out before suddenly became clear when she explained them. Bella talked for a long while and started feeling thirsty. As she looked up, she noticed I was staring at her. She swallowed nervously and turned her gaze back to the problems. Is there a problem? She asked. I just think you're very patient with me. But why were you so cold on your phone? You only replied with one letter. Is it because of me and Chloe? I didn't see your message until this morning. If you ever need help with anything, you can call me anytime. While we were busy, my phone suddenly rang. I hurried to answer it. Chloe's voice came through from the other end. Ethan, what is the meaning of this? What did I do now? Hearing her accusatory tone, I had no idea how I had offended her this time. Chloe snapped. You actually had them throw all of my things out. I couldn't help but glance at Bella. I didn't hide anything from her and spoke directly to Chloe. I told you yesterday that you're fired. Since that's the case, you have no reason to stay in my house, do you? I'm in a lesson, don't bother me. I hung up immediately. Chloe stood at the door, watching her luggage get tossed out in a heap. She couldn't believe I was capable of this. I really wanted her gone. I hung up and said to Bella, let's continue. Bella gave a soft response. A moment later, the study door was suddenly pushed open. Chloe stood at the entrance. Her face was dark with rage. When her eyes fell on me and Bella, a flicker of contempt appeared in her gaze. Seeing her there, I stood up and asked, what are you doing here? Don't you dislike me? Don't you look down on me? Now you're the one stalking me. Chloe walked forward, her tone demanding. Ethan, do you find it fun to humiliate me like this? Bella stood up as well, instinctively moving. She stood in front of me to protect me. Humiliate you? Seeing Chloe so indignant, I retorted, aren't you mistaken? How did I humiliate you? Chloe, the one who was truly humiliated was me. I paid for all your living expenses, yet you and Marcus we're stuck together every day. I followed behind you both like a servant. I served you, yet I had to endure your coldness. Is that not humiliation? Now, I was simply taking back everything I gave her, yet in her eyes, that was an insult. Chloe pursed her lips and stared at me. Don't think that finding someone else can pressure me into doing anything with you. It's impossible for me to like you, and I will never date you. I'm telling you this without hesitation. After she finished, she turned and left, even bumping into the door. I opened the window and heard a noise. I watched her go downstairs, pick up her luggage, and leave without looking back. She left quite decisively. Chloe had always been proud in front of me. Despite her family's poverty, she was full of pride. No matter how well I treated her, she would never succumb to the temptation of money. I used to admire that about her. Looking back now, it's truly laughable. Bella saw me standing by the window and called out, Ethan. I turned back and saw Bella was still there. Sorry, let's continue. Bella looked at me. Maybe I should head back first. You don't seem to be in a good mood. No, I'm in a great mood. I was just remembering my past life and the foolish things I did. I wasn't sad about Chloe. Seeing her like that actually made me quite happy. At least now, I don't have to feel anxious about my future. By staying away from Chloe, I won't get sick in this life, and I won't end up like that again. Bella said, I'll go home now. She was about to walk out the door when I stepped forward and grabbed her hand. Bella froze. She turned her head and stared at me. What's wrong? I didn't know what I was doing, but I wasn't blind. I could tell she was a bit unhappy whenever Chloe showed up. After saying those things, Bella instinctively tried to pull her hand away. My relationship with Chloe used to be so close, and I never hid my feelings for her. Everyone, including Bella, probably thought I still loved her. Of course, I really did love Chloe once. If not for the tragic end I met in my past life, I might never have woken up. Seeing Bella looking at me, I let go of her hand. Are you free Saturday? I want to eat at the Royal Pavilion. Do you want to go together? The food at the Royal Pavilion is delicious. Having starved to death in my previous life, I just want to enjoy myself now. Before, I would have taken Chloe, but now I want to invite Bella. She is, after all, my father's arranged marriage partner. Unless I object, I'll likely marry Bella after graduation. I used to think my father didn't respect my wishes, but looking back, she's just as beautiful as Chloe, with a better family background. She's the total package. It seems I'm the one getting the better end of the deal. Bella asked, aren't you going with her? She was referring to Chloe. I countered, so you really want me to be with her? You want me to keep avoiding you like I did before? Bella didn't hesitate to snap back. Of course not. I said, then it's settled. See you Saturday. When I arrived on Saturday afternoon, I was a bit late. At the entrance, I spotted several old friends. They were all dressed to the nines. Marcus's good friend, Sarah, saw me and couldn't help but let out a laugh. Ethan, you actually have the nerve to show up here? I frowned, confused. Why shouldn't I come? The owner of the Royal Pavilion is a close friend of my father's. I'm a super VIP here. I can come whenever I want. I'd like to know why I shouldn't be here. Sarah sneered. Everyone at school has been laughing at you for 2 days, and you haven't even acknowledged her. And now, on her birthday. That's right, today is her birthday. I've been so focused on classes lately that I hadn't given it a thought. If they hadn't reminded me, I would have forgotten. I had already made arrangements with the staff here. This was Chloe's 18th birthday. That year, I threw her a massive, lavish party at the Royal Pavilion. It was incredibly grand, but it was also on this day that I found out Chloe and Marcus were dating. When I confronted her, she looked at me with total self-righteousness. Marcus and I love each other. Why can't we be together? Ethan, can you stop trying to control my life? Later, I got angry and ignored her, and we stayed in a Cold War for 2 days. But I still couldn't help being the first to apologize. It all started from her birthday. After that, the two of them dated brazenly right in front of me. Eventually, I had no choice but to beg Chloe to be with me, to get her to marry me. I even did something as stupid as handing over the company my father left me. Looking at the lively scene now, I didn't want to deal with them. Everything Chloe had at this hotel was arranged by me, and naturally, I was responsible for the bill. Now that I've come to my senses and stopped caring about her, she still dared to bring them here to spend my money. I'm curious to see how she'll settle the bill. I ignored my classmates' mockery and walked straight into the elevator. My table with Bella was already booked. I wondered if she had arrived. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw Chloe chatting warmly with Marcus. She noticed my arrival immediately. Chloe's gaze locked onto me instantly. She said with a smile, "I knew you'd show up. I thought you really weren't coming." Chloe walked toward me, teasing me with a hint of pride. "Didn't you say you wouldn't come?" "Humph, don't think that just because you're here, I'll forgive you for what you did." "Ethan, I'm still angry." She was like this every time, always using her anger to force me to compromise. I looked at her, the corners of my mouth turning up slightly. "Is something wrong?" Chloe was stunned. "Aren't you here for my birthday?" "Why would I celebrate your birthday? You didn't invite me, did you? With so many classmates here for you, you shouldn't be missing one person." "Ethan, what do you mean?" Chloe looked at me with irritation. She thought I was just being stubborn, even on her birthday, trying to make her angry. Just then, the restaurant manager walked over to me. "Mr. Ethan, has Bella arrived?" I asked. The manager nodded. "She's already here. Please follow me." "Thank you." As the manager started leading me to Bella, Chloe followed behind me. "Ethan, have you had enough? You're actually going to see Bella. Is her temper too good?" I shot her a glance. "I'm not making a scene. You're the one doing that. You told me not to pester you because you found me annoying. Now that I've stopped, what's your problem? Your boyfriend is still waiting for you." I said this while glancing at Marcus, who wanted to follow but seemed to feel it was inappropriate. Marcus had never seen Chloe like this. Chloe was being so proactive with me. Of course, I knew exactly why she was doing it. It wasn't that she couldn't bear to lose me, but she felt entitled to enjoy everything I provided. She'd reject my gifts verbally, but still take them. With a smile. Now that I'm ignoring her, she's panicking. After all, she can't let a birthday party she's been planning for so long end in a disaster. Chloe said, "If it's because of my relationship with Marcus, I can stay away from him. If I do that, can you please stop making a scene?" For the first time ever, she actually chose to take a step back. It shows just how much she values this birthday party. Then again, if she didn't care about her image, she wouldn't have posed as a rich socialite at school or invited so many people to her birthday party. "Fine, I know you're celebrating your birthday today, and I don't want to ruin everyone's fun, right?" After saying that, I turned to the manager. "I previously booked the Emerald Suite at your restaurant under the name Chloe." The manager checked his records and said, "Yes, Mr. Ethan. Since today is Chloe's birthday, let her use that suite." I looked at Chloe and said, "Is that good enough?" Seeing me relent, Chloe let out a sigh of relief. She looked at me and said, "You really did all this just to make me break up with Marcus. You just can't stand seeing us together. You're overthinking it. I don't care who you're with." "Chloe, in time you'll realize that without me, Ethan, you are absolutely nothing." The manager stood by silently. My words made Chloe lose face completely. "I'm not wasting my time on you," she snapped, turning to leave. The manager glanced at me. "I'll have the staff get the Emerald Suite ready." I nodded. "Fine, but make sure she pays the full bill herself before she leaves. Until then, no one is allowed to leave." "Understood, Mr. Ethan." After arranging everything, I went to find Bella. Chloe returned to Marcus's side. Seeing her dark expression, Marcus asked, "How did it go? What were you two talking about?" Chloe replied, "Nothing special." She glanced at the gentle, attentive Marcus, thinking she'd break up with Marcus. He was dreaming. Once this birthday party was over, she'd never have anything to do with me again. She'd never give me the time of day. Bella wasn't wearing her school uniform today. She wore a dress that, while simple in style, looked exceptionally elegant on her. When I walked in, she was focused on the menu. Suddenly, she heard me and looked up to meet my eyes. I flashed a smile. "Have you been waiting long?" "No, I just arrived." Bella was watching me. I was wearing a t-shirt today, looking quite bright and handsome, though I felt a bit awkward. I naturally sat down right next to her. Bella didn't expect me to sit so close and seemed a bit uneasy. There were plenty of seats. I clearly could have sat elsewhere. I didn't notice her discomfort at the time and asked, "Have you ordered yet?" "Not yet. I'm still looking." "Let me see." I leaned in close to look at the menu in her hand. Bella could no longer focus on the menu. She kept noticing me. She didn't know what shampoo I used, but it smelled good, a very fresh scent that wasn't overpowering. I wanted to eat something with a strong flavor. It seemed to remind me that I was still alive. Those days of illness, hunger, and cold in my past life were a form of torture. Even though I've been reborn, I sometimes dream I've returned to that previous life. The food was so spicy, I fanned my mouth with my hand. I picked up my watermelon juice and took a sip. Bella asked me, "Do you like spicy food?" "It's all right." I looked up at her. "How about you?" "I like it too," she said cooperatively, picking up her chopsticks to take some food. In our private suite, the server stood by on standby. After a while, the owner of the Royal Pavilion walked in. His name was Mr. Zhou. Seeing him, I said politely, "Uncle Zhou." Mr. Zhou looked at me with a smile. "Ethan, you're here too." The way he said it made me realize immediately that he wasn't here for me. Sure enough, Mr. Zhou walked over to Bella. He addressed her politely. "Miss Bella, welcome to our hotel for Dinner. If there's anything we can improve, please let me know. He only knew Bella's identity because he was close to my father. Most people had no idea about Bella's background, nor did they know the young heiress of the capital's white family was hiding in Cloud City. Bella gave a brief acknowledgement and then continued eating. She was quite cold. I originally thought she was a warm person, but seeing her now, I realized Bella just didn't like talking to others. Mr. Zhou stood there for a moment and had to take the hint. Then I'll leave you to it. Please enjoy your meal. Wait a moment, Uncle Zhou. I called out to him. Hearing my voice, Mr. Zhou stopped in his tracks and then turned back. Mr. Ethan, do you have further instructions? He smiled warmly and looked like a very kind person, so I'd always liked him. However, if I remembered correctly, a sudden fire broke out at the Royal Pavilion 3 days after Chloe's birthday party in my past life. The cause was the kitchen's inadequate fire safety measures. After the fire started, they discovered the fire extinguishers were completely useless. That disaster even resulted in casualties. Because of this, the Royal Pavilion, once the top hotel in Cloud City, never recovered. I heard Mr. Zhou fell ill because of the incident. I looked at him and asked, is the fire safety in your hotel up to code? Mr. Zhou looked at me with surprise. Ethan, why the sudden concern? I just think you should have someone check everything thoroughly, especially the kitchen area. Don't worry, Mr. Zhou said. Our fire safety is perfect. Nothing will go wrong. We are responsible for our guests. I stared at him quietly. Uncle Zhou, could you please go and check it yourself? Seeing my persistence, a hint of dissatisfaction appeared on Mr. Zhou's face as he stared at me. What do you mean by that, Ethan? Do you not believe me? Your father and I are close friends. He knows my character well. I run my business with a conscience. You're questioning my integrity. I was about the same age as his son. In his eyes, I was just a kid who didn't understand these things. Then, Bella spoke up. Since he said so, why not go take a look? From the moment Mr. Zhou walked in, Bella hadn't spoken to him. She'd only given short responses to his questions. But now that she spoke, Mr. Zhou gave her a lot of face. Fine, I'll go. Right now, Bella was very composed. Combined with her status, even though she was my age, her words seemed more convincing. After Mr. Zhou left, I looked at Bella in surprise. Why did you help me? I had only made the suggestion because I knew the truth, but from Bella's perspective, she should have known nothing about it. Bella heard me and said, since you spoke up, isn't it natural to help you? Aren't you afraid I'm just talking nonsense? What does it matter? Bella said, even if it's a joke, it's not a big deal. It just cost him a trip. She was incredibly calm while saying this, but as I watched her, a wave of warmth surged in my heart. It was the feeling of being deeply trusted. I thought back to the moment I was diagnosed with AIDS. No one was willing to believe I was a victim. They all said I was sleeping around. If I really had, I would have accepted it. Everyone blamed me. They were disgusted by me, and I even started to hate myself. I never expected that Chloe had intentionally used a needle from an AIDS patient on me. She wanted an excuse not to marry me. Only the person who frames you knows how wronged you are. Bella and I ate for a long time. We didn't leave after finishing. We ordered dessert. I even brought my homework and started working on it. Bella helped explain some problems to me. We stayed until evening, when Chloe's birthday party ended. Everyone at her party was detained because Chloe hadn't paid the bill. Chloe called me. I didn't answer the first time. Bella sat nearby, watching me. Not picking up, I said, I know who it is. I ignored it until she called 2 more times. Then I finally answered. Ethan, what is the meaning of this? Chloe's voice on the other end was full of rage. The angrier she got, the happier I felt. I didn't want anything to do with her, but I still had to settle the score for my past life. I couldn't swallow that resentment. I curled my lips into a smile. Chloe, what's wrong? Why so much fire? Get over here and pay the bill. Chloe lowered her voice. Don't cause trouble. She had planned to cut ties with me after the party ended, but she didn't expect me to be waiting for her here. Now she had no money to pay, and everyone was being held back, waiting for her. I said, that's strange. It's your birthday, and I didn't even go. Why are you asking me to pay? Why don't you ask your classmates to chip in? They're all so good to you, and you have a great relationship. You treat them to dinner all the time, right? I used to give Chloe over 100,000 in allowance every month. She took it as her right. She felt the tutoring money she earned was what she deserved. She was very generous, treating everyone to meals. Everyone thought Chloe was wealthy and wanted to be close to her, but she was using my money. Chloe said, Ethan, do you have to be like this? What exactly do I have to do to get you to come pay the bill? I said, if you're asking for a favor, you should at least have the right attitude, don't you think? Over the phone, I heard Chloe exhale in frustration. I wasn't her mindless lapdog anymore. She was furious, of course. I smirked. Not willing? Fine, forget it. I'm hanging up. Wait, please. Chloe gritted her teeth. The hotel staff had them cornered. They couldn't leave. I hung up, stood up, and looked at Bella. I'll be right back. I walked over to the Emerald Hall. All the classmates from the party were still there, trapped. Everyone was staring at Chloe. The atmosphere was incredibly awkward. They couldn't leave, and Chloe could only stand there helplessly under their gaze. As soon as I appeared, the manager walked over and greeted me politely. Mr. Jiang. I looked at the group. They were all dressed up to the nines. This afternoon, they looked down on me. Now, that arrogance was gone. Nothing is more humiliating than being stuck because you can't pay. I smiled. What's wrong, everyone? Isn't this Chloe's birthday party? You don't look very happy. I took a long look at Chloe. Her expression was darker than anyone's. Marcus stood to the side, looking confused. The manager explained, Miss Chloe hasn't settled the bill. I'm just asking them to pay. I said calmly, I see. It's no big deal. No need for all this. They're my classmates. I'll cover the bill tonight. I handed over my card. The manager took it to process the payment. The others looked at me with complex expressions. Chloe was the one celebrating, yet I was paying. What was going on? Could she not afford it herself? Chloe's face burned with shame. She glared at me. No wonder I came so easily. My goal was to humiliate her, to let everyone know she was broke and relied on me. I could have handled the bill discreetly, but I chose to make it a spectacle, swiping my card right in front of everyone. She thought I was insane. A moment later, the manager finished the transaction and handed back my card and the receipt. Mr. Jiang, it's done. Here is the receipt. I checked the bill and intentionally read the number aloud. 860,000. Chloe, happy birthday. I'll cover it this time, but there won't be a next time. I glanced at Marcus. Marcus stood right beside me. Was all this money given to me by my family? Wasn't Chloe supposed to be the rich heiress? The scene before them was a total slap in the face. Sarah stepped forward and snapped at me. Ethan, are you joking? Just because Chloe's money is with you doesn't make it yours. You're just the son of her family's servant. What are you so proud of? Does your family give their money to servants to keep? I looked at Sarah and smiled thinly. Since you say I'm the son of Chloe's servant, let me tell you the truth. Her father is actually my family's driver. That day at the school gate, he abandoned me to drive Chloe and Marcus away. He's already been fired. If you don't believe me, why don't you ask Chloe? I turned to her. Well, Chloe, what do you say? She stared at me, her eyes full of resentment. In her whole life, even when she was poor, she had never been this humiliated. Everyone was laughing at her, but she couldn't say a word. She knew I could easily refund the money and leave her trapped here. I turned and walked out. Marcus witnessed everything and followed her out. The situation was unbearable, but she had to leave. The others were stunned. She was a driver's daughter? Why had she pretended to be a rich socialite? After they left, I glanced at the remaining crowd. Nothing else to see. You can all head home. Be careful on the way. It's getting late. They filed out of the Emerald Hall. I watched them leave before walking out myself. The manager escorted me to the main entrance and saw me to the elevator. Bella arrived just then, and we entered the elevator together. I remained silent. Although I had cleared my name in front of everyone, I didn't feel particularly happy. Compared to the years of suffering I endured, this small punishment for Chloe couldn't dissolve the hatred in my heart. Bella saw my silence and didn't disturb me. Downstairs, we saw Mr. Zhou waiting. He walked straight toward me. This time, his focus wasn't on Bella, but on me. I said politely, Uncle Zhou. Mr. Zhou grabbed my hand. Ethan, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, something terrible would have happened. I went to check it personally and found so many issues. It was my cousin's negligence. I've already sent him packing. I felt relieved. It was the right thing to do. Mr. Zhou asked curiously, how did you know our fire safety was a problem? The question caught me off guard. I had to make up an excuse, so I said I saw it in a dream. Uncle Zhou couldn't help but laugh at that. All right, I won't pry. By the way, I've prepared some gifts for you both, he said. He gestured to his assistant, who brought over 2 small gift bags. Thank you. If you ever need anything, just ask. I won't forget this favor. Uncle Zhou saw us to the door, where the White family's car was waiting. I sat in the car, staring out the window. There weren't many pedestrians at this hour, but the road was still quite congested. I remember Bella and I used to talk a lot, but this time it was exceptionally quiet. She didn't disturb me. I just thought about how I could predict the fire safety issues at the Royal Hotel. Logically, I shouldn't know more about their hotel than Uncle Zhou. As for the Emerald Hall, she must have heard that today was Chloe's birthday. I didn't spend it with her, but stayed with Bella instead. That was one thing, but making Chloe so embarrassed in the end. I really wanted to break things off with her completely. So why did I look so dejected now? In truth, I was only sad for a moment. I knew I had been reborn. Everything could be started over. As long as I didn't repeat the mistakes of my past life, there was still time to fix things. Because of this, I soon felt drowsy. Going to school seriously every day lately was truly exhausting. I felt like I couldn't wake up, and now the sleepiness hit me. Before long, I leaned over and fell asleep on Bella's shoulder. Bella froze, not daring to move. By the time we reached the Jiang house, her arm was sore, but she didn't dare change positions for fear of waking me. She stayed like that. Miss, the driver said, we're here. Bella looked outside. Then her gaze fell on my pale face, hesitating whether to wake me. The driver had already gotten out and was waiting outside. Bella still hadn't called me. I felt the car stop and woke up, glancing out the window. Realizing I was home, I looked up at Bella. She sat there quietly, not even daring to look me in the eye. I gently rubbed my aching neck and sat up straight. We're here. Bella nodded in response. Then why didn't you wake me? You looked like you were sleeping so soundly. Her face was as expressionless as ever when she spoke. I looked at her and noticed her ears were turning red. I remembered she was always shy, but I didn't expect her to be this innocent. When I called her name, Bella looked at me. I asked her, are you afraid of me? Bella said, no. Then why do you avoid looking at me? When we're together, you act like you hate me. Bella cleared her throat. I'm just not used to being this close to anyone. You're the first. I couldn't help but laugh at her words. Then why didn't you tell me to move away? Hearing this, Bella spoke up as if to prove she wasn't being led by me, asking, why did you and Chloe break up? Didn't you like her a lot? I froze at the mention of this topic, staring at the empty street ahead. I just realized I don't like her anymore. It's nothing. I'm going in. I stepped out of the car. Just then, the gates of the Jiang villa slowly opened. My father, Marcus Jiang, walked to the entrance. My eyes lit up the moment I saw him. Dad, you're finally back. Dad was always busy with work, so I was usually home alone. There were plenty of servants, but few could control me. Even my father spoiled me and rarely disciplined me, thinking as long as I was happy, it was fine. Being pampered by him was my most carefree time. In my past life, he warned me not to obsess over Chloe, but I wouldn't listen. Seeing him again, my heart felt warm. Standing before him, a long-lost sense of vulnerability surged up. I threw myself into my father's arms, and tears instantly escaped my eyes. Perhaps one only shows their weak side in front of those they are closest to. Seeing me return so late, Marcus Zhang's expression was stern at first, wanting to regain some fatherly authority. But when I suddenly hugged him and started crying, he panicked. He gently patted my shoulder. "What's wrong, son? Who bullied you? Was it that girl Chloe? I heard you fired her and her father." I held my father tight. "It's nothing. I just missed you, silly boy. Usually, you find me annoying if I call you more than twice. By the way, is that the White family's car?" At my father's mention, I turned back to see the car parked at the gate. Bella had already stepped out. My eyes were red from crying, and I felt a bit embarrassed to be seen by her. I said to my father, "Bella brought me home." He was surprised. I had been extremely resistant to the engagement before, even saying I would never have anything to do with Bella White. Now, the two of us were actually hanging out together. Although my father, Marcus Zhang, didn't know what had changed me, he still said to Bella, "Bella, come in and sit for a while." "Hello, Uncle Zhang," Bella said. "I won't come in. I'll head back for today." She glanced at me, then turned and got into the car. The White family's car drove away, and only then did I follow my father into the house. "Did Bella bully you?" he asked, seeing my red eyes and a grieved look. I shook my head and denied it. No, of course, he wasn't old yet when he left later, but I always remembered my father looking very old when he passed away. Marcus asked me repeatedly for a long time, and only felt relieved after confirming I hadn't been bullied by Chloe. Sunday morning, as soon as I woke up, the butler informed me that Chloe had arrived. The scenes from last night flashed in my mind. We had already completely fallen out. Chloe should have understood that I wouldn't spoil her anymore, so I didn't expect her to come. I went downstairs and found that not only Chloe was there, but her father as well. Mr. Smith sat on the sofa and said to Marcus, "Mr. Zhang, everyone says my Chloe is immature. I've already scolded her. She will never bully Rain Zhang again." Marcus frowned. "Is my son's name something you should call him?" He had long been annoyed by the Smith family. If it weren't for the fear that his son would cut ties with him, he wouldn't have tolerated them at all. Mr. Smith realized he had overstepped and quickly apologized. "Young master, it's the young master." Seeing me come downstairs, he quickly shifted his gaze to me. "Good morning, young master. I specifically brought Chloe here today to apologize to you." I turned to look at Chloe. She sat there with a gloomy face, silent. Apologize? I didn't think Chloe was here to apologize at all, because her face was written all over with reluctance. It was obvious she still held a grudge over last night. How could she possibly apologize to me? I said, "Mr. Smith, you're overthinking it. Chloe hasn't offended me in any way. There's no need to apologize." "But I heard you fired her," Mr. Smith replied. When he was fired, he wasn't even that anxious himself. After all, his monthly salary wasn't much despite working long hours. But Chloe was different. She could get a lot of money just by tutoring me. Maybe the entire Zhang family would be hers in the future, now that we had a falling out. "How could Mr. Smith possibly agree?" I said. "In the years she's been tutoring me, my grades have only gotten worse. Besides, Chloe also feels she's not up to the task. I'm too stupid for her to teach, so I just fulfilled her wish and let her go. Actually, there's no conflict between us, and she didn't do anything unpleasant. There's no need for an apology." Marcus glanced at me sideways, seeing how extremely calm I looked while saying this. Before, I had insisted on being with Chloe and having her tutor me. He had no choice but to agree. Now that I had actually dismissed Chloe, Marcus was a bit surprised and also moved. His son was finally growing up. "I have classes and need to eat," I said. Marcus had someone escort the father and daughter out. After breakfast, I walked out of the house. The driver was waiting in the courtyard. I got into the car. As the car pulled out of the Zhang estate, I saw Chloe still at the gate with her father. Unlike his gentle manner inside, Mr. Smith raised his hand and slapped her across the face. I knew about Chloe's background. Her father was a gambler, and her mother couldn't take it, so she abandoned Chloe and ran away. All these years, she lived with her father, and her tuition money was borrowed from relatives. When she got older, she found her own ways. Under these circumstances, she still managed to keep her grades excellent, always ranking first in the school. Because of this, I used to cherish her and take special care of her, giving her the best of everything just to make her life better. Sadly, while I felt for her, she never felt for me. She only treated me as an ATM. The person in her heart wasn't me. I withdrew my gaze and went straight to school. Due to what happened yesterday, everyone's attitude toward me seemed to have softened a lot. Classmates started initiating conversations. "Rain Zhang, is your family really that rich? So all of Chloe's money was given by you? We always thought she was a rich heiress." I replied, "Don't you guys already know? Young master, why don't you look at me? I promise I'm much more obedient than Chloe." I looked at the girl who said this and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Just then, Chloe appeared. Hearing the girl's words, Chloe let out a cold laugh. "You wish, as if he'd ever be interested in you. He already has a new target now. It's not your turn yet. Go wait in line." "A new target?" Hearing Chloe's words, everyone looked over. Where did I get a new target? Who could be better than Chloe? Could there be someone else in school? There didn't seem to be anyone better than Chloe. Although she was no longer a rich heiress, her academic performance was outstanding and she was beautiful, so everyone believed she had massive potential. Chloe didn't answer them. She just turned her gaze toward me and said, "You've been my lapdog for so long, and just because I won't date you, you treat me like this? Rain Zhang, even if you use these tactics, I will never like you." A rich young master like you, with terrible grades, who expects everyone to revolve around his money, isn't worth a single finger of Marcus Miller. Hearing Chloe mention this, everyone remembered my ranking was at the very bottom. I wasn't just Chloe's lapdog, I was a total airhead. Before I could speak, Chloe brought up last night's birthday party. You're the one who made me invite everyone. I didn't want to go, but in the end, you deliberately humiliated our classmates. Do you think you can toy with people's dignity just because you're rich? And don't twist the truth about supporting me. That money was just payment for my tutoring. From now on, I don't want your money anymore, but don't expect me to help you ever again. After saying this, Chloe immediately swapped seats with someone, looking like she wanted nothing to do with me. Oh, she's playing the cold scholar persona again. She's always like this. I haven't forgotten how she begged me for help last night. Seeing her father hit her earlier, I felt a bit sorry for her, but now it seems he didn't hit her hard enough. I didn't indulge her. Tutoring? Chloe, you have the nerve to bring that up. Since you started tutoring me, have you done a single useful thing besides taking my money? My monthly rank at the bottom of the class is the direct result of your tutoring. Chloe said expressionlessly. I told you long ago, you're just too stupid. What does that have to do with me? Rain Jiang, you're so rich. Why don't you use that money to buy a new brain? As soon as Chloe spoke, the others couldn't help but laugh. I looked at her self-righteous face and said, are you sure I'm the stupid one? Maybe it's your teaching style that's the problem. Chloe thought of Bella White, knowing I had already asked Bella to tutor me. She let out a cold snort. Fine then. In that case, let's see your results on the next monthly exam. I don't need much. If your grade rank improves by just 100 spots, I'll admit I'm the problem. She wanted to see if Bella could actually teach me. She was convinced my brain simply didn't work. Fine by me, I said, looking at her. She only asked for a 100-spot improvement, not even a major jump, which showed just how much she looked down on me. Seeing me agree, Chloe said to the crowd, you all heard him. He agreed. If his rank improves by 100 spots next time, I, Chloe Smith, will punish myself by running 10 kilometers. Whoa. Everyone turned their gaze to Chloe, faces full of excitement. Sophie looked at me. Since the school beauty is running 10 kilometers, if you lose, you should run 10 kilometers too. But Rain Jiang, can you even handle that? If you're a coward, just give up now. I looked at them and said, sure, 100 spots isn't that hard, especially since these past few days with Bella. Her way of explaining things is very easy to understand. I can feel myself clearly improving, so I agreed immediately. This would push me. After all, people need a goal to stay motivated. Seeing my resolve, Chloe couldn't help but laugh. Idiot, she muttered, then sat down. She really didn't expect me to agree. When she taught me, I usually knew nothing, so she knew my level perfectly. She was already looking forward to seeing me run 10 kilometers. Just as they finished the bet, Marcus Miller walked in. He was standing at the door and heard everything Chloe said. He had been depressed all night, but now he had realized something. Chloe wasn't just a top student. She was beautiful. Even if her family was poor, she was so hardworking and ambitious. Wasn't she 100 times better than an airhead like Rain Jiang? In the future, she would surely succeed on her own merit. Being with her wouldn't be a loss. Thinking this, he walked over and said to Chloe, Chloe, even if your father is just a driver, he still earns his living with his own hands. Besides, your grades have always been the best. It must have been hard to get this far with your background. I will always stand by you firmly. As soon as Marcus Miller mentioned this, all the students who had doubts about Chloe were suddenly moved. Marcus was still sticking by Chloe even now. This devotion was just too great. Looking at Chloe again, she had always been a top student. Everyone liked Marcus not just because of his money, but because of his character and grades. Meanwhile, I was just a lazy rich kid trying to force someone to be with me. Seeing them act so in sync, I had to cry for their beautiful love. It was so moving. They really belonged together. I blamed my past self for being blind and trying to interfere. Because of Chloe's verbal attack, everyone now thought I was a total airhead. I had finally dropped the burden of being a simp and a mediocre son. Now, people ignored me because of my grades, but I didn't care. Compared to the loneliness of my past life, their behavior was nothing. After all, I still had my wealth and parents who loved me. I focused on class and didn't bother with them. After school, my father drove my mother to pick me up. They were both in their 40s now, but in their youth, they were the campus beauty and heartthrob. Even now, their elegance hadn't faded. My father thoughtfully opened the car door for me. Chloe and Marcus had just walked out of the school and witnessed this scene. The classmates walking with them saw me with an older woman and couldn't help but feel curious. Is that Rain's new target? Since Chloe had mentioned something about this earlier that morning, they started whispering. That woman looks like she's at least 40. What's her relationship with Rain? Others began to speculate. I knew Rain couldn't be a real young master. Turns out he's just a sugar baby for an older woman. And here I thought he was someone special. No wonder Chloe didn't want him. If it were me, I'd look down on him too. Doing this at such a young age is disgusting. Hearing them slander me, Chloe didn't bother to explain. Marcus looked at Chloe, seeing her remain silent. He assumed everyone's guesses were correct. Suddenly, he felt a sense of relief. Although my academic performance was poor, my family was rich, and I spent money like water. Marcus had always felt inferior to me, but discovering I was just a kept man made him feel much better. At least he wouldn't do something so shameless. He would rely on his own hard work to achieve his dreams. Marcus and Chloe got on the bus. Chloe said, I won't see you off today. She couldn't earn money tutoring me anymore, so she found a part-time job. Her father's gambling debts meant he often took her money. Now she had to find a way to support herself. Marcus nodded. Meanwhile, my parents took me to buy a new phone and then out to dinner. When we arrived, Bella White was already there. She lived in the city with her uncle. Her uncle was very close with my father, Marcus Jeong. This was meant to be a formal meeting between the families. My father had wanted to arrange this long ago, but I had strongly opposed it because I was obsessed with Chloe. Seeing me willing to come today made my father feel deeply relieved. His son had finally grown up and was willing to listen. During the meal, he and Bella's uncle chatted happily. I sat next to Bella and told her about the bet. I explained that I had to improve my rank by 100 spots. After I finished talking, Bella didn't say much, only giving a brief acknowledgement. I couldn't read her. Do you think I'm being reckless? That the pressure is too much? Bella looked at me. No. Then do you think I have a chance? Even though I understand the problems you've been explaining lately. It's fine, Bella said, looking at me. Just leave it to me. You're actually quite smart. You're not as stupid as others say. She was clearly referring to Chloe. Although Bella hadn't commented when Chloe called me stupid before, she had remembered it. I laughed and said, I'm relieved to hear that. Sorry for the trouble. It's what I should do. As we talked, I suddenly noticed the private room had gone quiet. I looked up and saw my father and Bella's uncle both staring at us. It was a bit awkward. Dad, why are you looking at me? It's nothing, carry on. My father continued chatting, but he couldn't help but feel emotional. Their relationship was actually quite good. Even though he had arranged this engagement, he felt like his son was being stolen away. After dinner, the adults had more business to discuss, so Bella and I left first. We didn't go home, but found a cafe instead. I wanted ice cream, so I went to buy some. I sat back down next to Bella to continue studying. The class material was tough. Running 10 kilometers would probably only take half my life, but this was harder. The waiter brought our order quickly. I looked up and saw the person in the uniform was none other than Chloe. I was surprised and stared at her. What are you doing here? Chloe gave me a cold look. I should be asking you that. Did you come here on purpose to disgust me because you knew I worked here? Even though I was acting cold now, Chloe was convinced I still liked her and was just trying to play hard to get. Otherwise, how could I show up exactly where she was working? What a coincidence. You're overthinking it, I said. This is purely accidental. Chloe glanced at Bella, didn't linger, and turned to leave immediately. She clearly didn't want to waste time with us. Seeing her arrogant attitude, I really didn't get what she was so proud of. I turned and handed the ice cream to Bella. She refused it, saying, you eat it. She reached out to help me carry my backpack as we walked out of the cafe. I had planned to stay longer, but running into Chloe really ruined the mood. For the next half-month, I studied like my life depended on it. Bella often came to the Jeong house to tutor me. My grades showed significant improvement. However, every time Chloe saw me studying so hard, she couldn't help but mock me. Rain, if you're feeling regretful, it's not too late to give up now. Otherwise, don't come crying to me when the results come out. You're the one being noisy. I frowned and immediately stuffed my earbuds in. The monthly exams finally ended. I was in a great mood and couldn't wait to rush back home. Although the results weren't out yet, I felt I had performed quite well. Bella was sitting in the yard drinking tea and playing with Snowball. Snowball was getting fatter. I walked over, hugged the dog, and said to Bella, you're here so early today. Bella looked at me. I'm always early. I'm actually curious. Don't you have any other activities at school? Chloe was a top student at their school, and she and Marcus usually had a lot to do. But by comparison, Bella seemed much more relaxed. Every time I came back, she was already there. Bella said, I have a lot of freedom. They don't bother me. So there are no school activities to join? I generally don't join the student council or clubs. Bella shook her head. Sometimes I enter competitions, but usually I don't go. Why? Because it's boring. And the teachers think it's like a pro playing in a low-level league. It makes the other students lose confidence. But I think I've seen you participate in quite a few. Like those competitions Chloe entered, she said you were at every one. You even took away her first place streak. So she especially hates you. Bella picked up her cup and took a silent sip of water. If Chloe was an A competition, Bella usually wouldn't miss it. I was desperate to know my score, so I checked my answers with Bella in the yard. I found I got many questions right. I was in high spirits. When the results came out, the teacher walked in and, as usual, praised Chloe and Marcus for taking first and second place again. After the praise, the teacher added, but this time, I want to single out one person. That person is Rain. Hearing this, I immediately perked up. Chloe glanced at me, her eyes full of mockery. The teacher continued, Rain's grades this time are very good. He used to be at the bottom of the class, but this time, he has made huge progress. His score has broken into the top 200 of the entire grade. If he keeps working hard until the college entrance exam, he'll definitely get a great result. Top 200. Everyone's eyes widened at those words. Even Chloe was stunned. She had expected me to improve by 100 spots at most, but now I was in the top 200. I didn't expect such a massive jump either. It was beyond my own imagination. Maybe it's because I suffered so much in my past life that I no longer care about slacking off. I listened intently in every class and reviewed with Bella when I got home. She was a great teacher. Difficult problems became simple when she explained them. It turns out hard work really does pay off. Teacher, you must be mistaken. Rain's grades were so bad before. How is it possible? I am certainly not mistaken. The teacher looked at me with a calm expression. She used to be troubled by having a student like me dragging the class average down. Who knew my grades would improve this much? I was thrilled to get the teacher's validation. I saw Chloe quietly watching me from the side. Well, I thought, How could she be that stupid and still improve so much? Is Bella really that amazing? After school, Chloe was forced to run her 10 kilometers. I didn't go home, staying specifically to watch the show. I sat quietly to the side, glancing at her humiliated state, and a sudden surge of inexplicable pleasure washed over me. It felt great. Marcus watched me from the side, angry that I had become so heartless. Sarah cast a glance at me and whispered to Marcus, "It's just the top 200. What's the big deal? She's acting like she got first place. Even Chloe didn't act this smug when she took the top spot. Our Marcus even got second place." Marcus kept his eyes on Chloe and said flatly, "If you make a bet, you accept the loss. Chloe isn't a sore loser." Sarah snapped back. "So what if her grades improved? She still has to go home and serve that old woman. Just thinking about her sharing a bed with that old lady makes me feel disgusted for her." Marcus said, "Don't spread gossip about others." "Marcus, you're just too kind," Sarah said, patting his shoulder. By the time Chloe finished her 10 kilometers, the sky was nearly dark. She walked back drenched in sweat, looking at me, satisfied. I nodded. "Good work. You're welcome to keep betting with me next time." Then I stood up and left the campus full of joy. Chloe watched my figure leave. At that moment, my mood was incredibly light, and I even had a little skip in my step. In the past, I was always like a lapdog to her, but now I couldn't even be bothered to look at her. Thinking about me and Bella, is she really going to be with Bella in the future? They both have good backgrounds, so they're a perfect match. When the thought of her being with Bella surfaced, Chloe realized she felt stifled. It felt like something of hers was being stolen. "Chloe," Marcus said, seeing her staring in my direction. "Are you tired? Have some water." He handed her a bottle of mineral water. Chloe reached out and took it. "Thanks." In front of Marcus, she was always very polite. Marcus said, "That was hard work." But it's strange. Rain's grades were always bad. How did she suddenly improve so much? She didn't cheat, did she? Sarah, standing nearby, said, "I suspect she cheated just to make Chloe lose. Otherwise, Chloe tutored her every day before, and her grades were still trash. How could she improve so much all at once?" "Listen to you talk." Marcus glanced at Sarah. "You can't just say things without evidence. If she comes looking for trouble, you'll be the one paying for it." Sarah said, "I'm going to tell the teacher tomorrow." I took a car home, eager to share the news with Bella. After all, making Chloe admit defeat was partly Bella's credit. However, the butler said Bella didn't come today. I felt a bit dejected, so I changed my clothes and went to the dining room to eat. My dad has been away lately, so I'm the only one home. I dialed Bella's number. Bella was swimming at home. A maid reminded her softly, "Miss, you have a call." The person in the pool acted as if she didn't hear. The maid added, "It's from Rain." Bella emerged from the water. She walked gracefully to the shore. The maid quickly approached, holding a towel to gently wrap around her. Bella picked up the phone. The sternness on her face vanished instantly, replaced by a soft look. Then she said slowly, "Hello? Are you busy? Am I interrupting?" "I was just swimming. I heard you didn't come over today, so I called to tell you something," I said with a smile. "My grades improved a lot this time. I actually made the top 200. Did you know? Chloe ran 10 kilometers today." Seeing her get slapped in the face like that felt so good. Bella walked over to a lounge chair and listened patiently to my excitement. After a while, I asked curiously, "Are you listening?" Bella responded, "I'm listening." "Congratulations. This call didn't bother you, did it?" "It's fine, I'm free now. You've been coming to tutor me every day. It must be exhausting. Why don't you rest for 2 days? I'll study on my own. If I need anything, I'll ask you on chat." "That works." Bella didn't seem in a hurry to hang up. "You sound a bit unhappy. Did something happen? Do you need my help?" This question stunned her for a moment. "But Bella, we're comrades now, right? You've helped me so much, I should help you too." Without her tutoring, I never could have achieved such good results. I couldn't just enjoy her help and effort for nothing, especially since she doesn't lack money. Bella listened. Hearing me call us comrades, Bella couldn't help but let a helpless smile tug at her lips. All right. The next day, I arrived at school to find the homeroom teacher walking in with a heavy expression. He stood at the podium looking absolutely furious, his entire body radiating a powerful sense of pressure. His gaze locked onto me. "Rain, stand up." I stood up, staring at him in confusion. The teacher spoke up and said, "Someone has reported you for cheating."